You walk into a new fitness studio. Turn to your left, it's Gwyneth Paltrow. You turn to your right and see Giselle walk outside. You stare into the distance and see a room with sweat dripping down the window and the outline of Madonna. No, this isn't a trailer for a new Hollywood horror story. This is a situation inside Hollywood's A-listers' favorite fitness studio. Today I'm going undercover to the mysterious workout loved by Gwyneth Paltrow, Victoria's Secret models, and LA moms that are so rich we don't even know their names. Well, this LA class that has been popular for multiple decades, that's format has been kept undercover, proved to be what we are all missing. Or is it a fad that should have died with skinny tees? And we're gonna see what this $900 a month fitness studio has to offer. Because my God, we don't have enough money for eggs right now, let alone that. Meet Tracy Anderson, a dancer who moved to New York City to pursue her dreams as a professional dancer. She gained 40 pounds her first year living there and was inspired to switch her focus to weight loss and fitness training as a career. She first became popular selling her at-home training DVDs in the early 2000s. Now has gyms in LA, New York, the Hamptons, Spain, London, under the Tracy Anderson method. Over the last few years, she's gained a cult-like following. Celebrities are obsessed. Gwyneth Paltrow, Victoria's Secret models, and even Harry Styles. When Sav was living in New York, she heard Harry Styles had done the Tracy Anderson method. So what did I do? Hop on a plane to New York to try the very workout Harry Styles did. So I flew down to New York to try this class. First hurdle, no filming. She's super secretive about this workout. We get there, middle New York, and first, I am so intimidated. Every single person in this class looks like a dancer, and I realize we are going to be dancing. I walk into the class and could feel how hot and sweaty it was from the class before. You know that humidity, everyone was clearly working with sweat right before? Until I quickly realized, oh no, that's not people's sweat and lack of ventilation. This thing is humid AF. Allegedly, this was once again all allegedly. I cannot afford a Tracy Anderson method membership, let alone a lawsuit. We step into the workout and the instructor showed us to our spot, and that's it. No instructions, just follow along.
I'm extremely confused.
We just mimicked the instructor as she did a lot of donkey kicks with bands around ankles, used these bungee cord-like things from the roof. You could see the experienced girls around us were pros and had mastered these moves. Me and Sav, on the other hand, were internally screaming for help. We left and I was even more confused than when I went in. What the hell is this cult-like community really like? So I made it my mission to now try this once again to see if I can truly master these workouts and get to the bottom of why everyone's willing to put themselves through that humiliation. Now, what is this workout class really like? Now, the first time I tried it, I had no idea because she is super secretive about her methods. But nothing is a secret anymore thanks to the internet. You pretty much do several songs and exercises that they're kind of like a hybrid, a dance move and an exercise. Donkey kick, that's not just a donkey kick. It's like a donkey kick flow. Very elegant moving, dancing movements to the beat of the songs in a humid room using ankle weights, resistance band, and no talking. The instructor does not talk to you. The instructor just does it and then you just mimic and you try and get better. And you're probably like me. I was like, why can't you tell me what you're doing? Just say like one thing. Be like, next we're doing this. Here's a Tracy Anderson quote. Not speaking during the workout is a symbolic gesture in a sense of the need to tune out the noise and listen to what your body is telling you. Well, that backfired because the entire time my body was just screaming at my brain,
what the hell are we doing? Why are you not giving us signals?
Now, I can't really review it just off going off one class, but she has an app, so I'm going to try her app for the next week. So day one, I download the app. Quickly realized I downloaded the in-person studio app, not the at-home workout app. Attempt number 2, we got it. Friendly reminder, if you download something with a free trial, immediately go cancel. You get the full trial, but it'll cancel automatically before you're charged. Then I tried the workout. Honestly, it was fine and kind of boring. It's more so just many of the same repetitive movements, which was fun when it was with other people and the music and the heat. Like I did have fun with Sav in New York, but on my own, I just felt like I was doing some weird 80s jazzercise movement and I was tremendously embarrassed. But I'm gonna keep trying. Keltie, where are the weights? Now, have you ever heard that saying? It's a quote that's gone around the internet. A woman should never lift more than her purse. That was Tracy Anderson. And I'm not gonna lie, that pisses me off. Really pisses me off. I'm very neutral about whether a woman wants to gain muscle or lose muscle. I'm like, if you don't want to be a jacked individual, that's fine. If you aspire to be a Pilates princess, that is fine. But where I draw the line, it is dangerous to promote women not lifting weights. Lifting weights is one of two things. It reduces the chance of osteoporosis, which a lot of women experience once they go through menopause. And also it is one of the leading causes of death, because what actually a lot of people die from is they fall when they're old. And why lifting weights is so important is because one, because you're strong and balanced, you're more likely to catch yourself and stop yourself from falling, and also because you have the support of your muscles. When you fall, you're less likely to hurt yourself. So no, you don't have to lift weights to get jacked, have that Marvel character-like look. But women should be encouraged to lift weights regardless of aesthetics. And just realize growing really strong and gaining muscle isn't completely correlated. There's different ways to do it, which we'll get in throughout this video. Now, before you start to panic and be like, oh my God, Keltie,
I'm just a Pilates princess. Am I gonna fall, get osteoporosis, and die?
no, here's a simple way, the simplest way to just prevent that from happening. Number one, resistance training. Books like Peter Attia's Outlive recommend 3 45 to 60 minute weightlifting workouts a week, targeting all major muscle groups. And yes, that resistance training can be a reformer, it can be resistance bands, it could be weights, it could even be ankle weights in the Tracy Anderson method, but we'll talk about that more at the end. Number two, enough protein. I personally take the advice from Peter Attia's book Outlive and try and aim for 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. I'm not super exact, like I just am like mentally 100 to 150 a day. My average is kind of in the middle. And I get it from animal sources such as eggs, chicken, meat, salmon, and there's also vegetarian sources such as beans. And I usually do have 1 scoop of protein powder a day because I have a sweet tooth. And it's a cost-efficient way to get in a high quality protein. And my usual protein powder right now is Momentous. I usually have a scoop of protein powder after a workout with some milk or water, or I throw it into a smoothie to help with recovery. I'm obsessed with theirs because it's grass-fed whey sourced from European dairy farmers with rigorous agricultural standards. Most importantly, it's NSF certified. Okay, being honest, I've turned down so many supplement sponsorships for this very reason. The reality is a lot of supplements are just like made on the same manufacturing plant overseas, and they can get contaminated. And why the NSF certification is so important is it's thoroughly tested to make sure there's no cross-contamination. So if a professional athlete even were to take it, they couldn't accidentally test positive for something else that's on there. Like what's on the label is exactly what's in there. And on top of that, you know it's high quality from these European dairy farmers. So I just refuse to promote something that isn't the highest of quality for you guys, because I want, if you're gonna spend money on a supplement, it better be the best, because money's tight right now. So I don't want you to have something that's crap, not what's in the label, and you're just gonna piss out. More than 175 pro and college sports teams use Momentous products, as well as Olympian and Tour de France winners. Another great supplement of theirs that helps with muscle building is creatine, which is one of the most studied supplements on the planet, and which is another thing the media really has to stop scaring women from taking. It helps the creation of ATP in your body, which improves muscle performance and cognitive function, not just your muscles. And it's been my supplement line of choice whenever I want a protein powder or a creatine, or just when I just want those basic foundational supplements, I turn to Momentous. And of course, if I'm gonna offer something, I'm gonna offer it with a discount for you guys. If you use my link down below, you'll get 15% off all your orders, plus free shipping for US orders over $75. Thank you, Momentous, for sponsoring this video. Now, I did notice something. Upon my research, she is now promoting weightlifting on her website, which we love. I am so happy anytime I feel we can't judge people on what they did in the early 2000s. It was a different time. But if someone is willing to learn and adapt to the times, I'm like, that is a trustworthy person. But what exactly does she say on her website? It's very much the debate of high weight, low rep versus low rep, high weight. And she, at no one's surprise, leans towards low weight. Now, here's why she personally and people on her team promote lifting high rep, low weight. Decreased risk of injury, builds endurance, improves your physique, activates the right muscles, and appeals to a larger demographic. And I would agree with every single one of those. Lower weight, high rep exercises tend to stimulate more of a slow twitch muscle fiber, endurance, versus the opposite, high rep, low weight tends to promote more fast twitch muscle fibers, so it's more speed and power. More people will find it accessible. You're less likely to injure yourself because even if your form's not right, you're less likely to do some damage versus using a really heavy weight. And it can definitely change your physique. So for those reasons, that's why I'm not saying it's bad to lift high rep, low weight. It's beneficial. I actually do a lot of the times because I just can't be bothered setting up heavy weights. And I'm not too precise about my workouts anymore. I just make sure to get enough weight training throughout the whole entire week. So I'm not anti it anyway. But if it's someone's rationale that like they just don't want to get bulky, so low weight, high rep, that's not necessarily the case. There's some research that says it's actually the reverse, because Just look at bodybuilders. A lot of bodybuilders do high rep exercises because it promotes more hypertrophy and they can actually lift more volume throughout the week versus like if you lift a 1 rep max, you're going to be taxed. Your system, even your nervous system is taxed. So you just physically can't lift as much weight. So you might be getting stronger. You're not getting as much of a hypertrophic result or stimulus. So you're not growing as much muscle. So sometimes I'm like, you got to play around with yourself and you have to be skilled to really lift heavier. But sometimes I'm like, if your ultimate fear in life is to like not get bulky, but you want to be strong, maybe try lifting heavier weights because you lift less volume over time, but you're getting stronger. That's not exact correlation. Like it really comes down to like so specifically, are we talking like 1 rep max versus like 50 reps? Like there's a lot in the middle, but just realize it doesn't perfectly correlate. Low weight, lots of reps, Pilates body, lifting heavy, bodybuilding body. It's kind of just somewhere in the middle. And the methods to our workouts have become under scrutiny the last few years. In an April 2015 article, The Washington Post, personal trainer Kat Whitfield assessed the Anderson method, quote, certainly don't follow exercise philosophy principles. Yet you can't deny she has a cult following of people that'll stick to her. So then I tried another one of her workouts. I started to kind of get it and I started to get the groove. I'm like, there's something satisfying about dance workouts. Like it's a fun way to move your body instead of just walking or doing cardio. I tried the New York studio, so of course I had to go try the LA studio to see maybe I can understand this bug. Maybe I can understand why people consider her a cult-like figure. Good morning. It is 6 a.m. and I'm about to head to Tracy Anderson in Studio City, LA. I'm trying to think what I'm gonna expect. I've done the New York one and I expected all to be like Pilates moms and it was all really cool girls. I just have this feeling it's gonna be full of like, so she's the morning class, Beverly Hills moms. They're probably 20 years older than me, 20 times my income, look 20 times younger and better than me. That's my prediction. Women that are subscribed to Goop. So I took the windy road to Studio City location. Almost lost my breakfast due to road sickness, but we survived. And now to try this workout.
There she is in all her glory.
Okay, I'm super nervous. I invited my friend Nona to come with me. She has no idea what to expect and I feel kind of bad. She will be a victim of Tracy Anderson. To go undercover, I gotta stop using this bad boy because it's a rig. And it's time to bring out my super secret undercover camera, my iPhone. Honestly, it's low-key pretty easy to go undercover these days because the quality on these things is remarkable. Like everyone's got a camera. Okay, let's go. Oh, I just realized they probably saw me filming like this. This isn't obvious. The studio location was smaller than New York, but just as hot. There was no real lounge area, just this little back area to change. For whatever reason, this one felt less intimidating. The workout was practically the same, minus not using the resistance bands on the roof. And honestly, I enjoyed it more, simply because now I have a little bit more of an idea of what to expect. Meet my friend Nona, who joined me for the workout, and her thoughts.
How does it feel to be a victim of Tracy Anderson?
Well, I feel like I was abused. No, honestly, it's a good like morning workout, but it's so hot.
Well, it's like, especially not to complain, but I was like, I have such long legs. So doing those ankle weights, all that, and like at one point she's like, no, you're supposed to lift it higher. I was like, I'm fully aware. I was like, I physically can't anymore. My hips are so fried.
Vanilla!
Hi, guys!
Hello!
And we're talking about the Tracy Anderson. Even when I made this video, like I never want to punch down. Like especially any woman that's made a business, I'm like, let's promote it. My heart was like, there's something here. I'm gonna figure out what it is. And it turned out to be that this workout is like the best Coachella prep. You're outside in the humidity, scorching sun, hours on end, you're dancing. You wanna look kind of cool when you're dancing, you wanna groove. And that's literally what it is. I wanna hear your thoughts as a professional dancer.
Oh, anything that involves dancing,
Yeah.
it will hype you up for especially a festival. It's just so good for the soul.
I thought of nothing in that class but the dance. Like there's no time to be like, my taxes this year. Like you have to fully concentrate the entire time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have to focus on the steps, you have to focus on the music, and you just have to be fully in it. You can't be overthinking other things that are going on in your life. And also the confidence when it comes to dancing. So if you take that class a month before, I think you're going to feel so much freer when you do go to the festival and just dance around because you've been, warming up to it.
Cults. Now, there's some things in the fitness community that always get referred to as cults. SoulCycle, Lululemon, veganism, and Tracy Anderson. Allegedly. And I was so curious, like, why is there a cult-like following? First, let's define a cult. According to study.com, the word cult is defined as a system or group of people who practice excessive devotion to a figure, object, or belief system, typically following a charismatic leader. And I'm gonna be honest, the fitness world kind of has this. It's a pipeline. You follow fitness, and it's like the foundation. You get healthier, so you have more energy. Because you have more energy, you do more. And a lot of times it's like the spark. And people then associate whatever was the spark of their fitness community, whether it be nutrition, a diet, or a workout, is the foundation. Given cult. And even as a fitness YouTuber, I can fall into this. I find some new thing, I'm like, this is it. This has been the thing that changed my life. The meditation, the yoga, the Pilates, the running. And I gotta be careful. I'm like, no, it's just a little balance of everything. Because this can also be applied to finance, meditation, which we just said, reading, education, like anything that is like self-improvement can kind of be the foundation and the holy. And if you get just tight knit into this little group of it, whatever it is, even the good things, anything can just become your religion. Hyper focused that like this is the reason for everything, where it's just like, it's one stimulus amongst many things. So is it really a cult? There's a couple characteristics I looked up to see if she falls into a cult, and well, she's missing a few. For example, preoccupied with bringing in new members. There's none of that. Like, yeah, you might just call your friend and like, hey, you want to do a new class? But there's no this like,
you have to join it.
There's a couple people. There's always outliers, but it's not like everyone's trying. Everyone who joins Tracy Anderson is like, you must join us. Leaderships dictate a great deal of how people think and act. Leaderships induce guilt feelings in members for control. Group has polarizing us versus them mentality. Yeah, no, not those. Like, if you can make a joke about it, but not really. And I think that's why things like that get labeled a cult. You could say like, oh, there's some guilt felt because you missed a workout. Like, you know what I mean? But it's not like they're calling you and being like,
why the hell did you not show up?
But I will say there's a few characteristics they do have. One, the group is elitist. Like most fitness studios, there's a little bit of elitism, especially it's in Hamptons, New York, LA. It is the elite. They are the elite. There are people paying $900 a month. They are part of the 1%, the 0.1%. Illuminati? Just kidding. A living leader whose members seem to display unquestioning commitment, preoccupied with making money, which it's a business that wants to make money, and mind-numbing techniques, usually like meditation, chanting, but those are usually like to suppress people. But then like you could say there was chanting movements like a little bit, but not like full on. You are our leader, Tracy Anderson. We pray to you every night. Don't copyright that. Banger. Now, I think I found where the stem of this like Tracy Anderson cult started. There was an article back in 2012 on the New York Times labeled The Cult of Tracy Anderson. And that was back when the New York Times was the biggest deal. Like if it was published there, we were all reading it. It's not like social media now where everything's fragmented. I'm gonna read a couple quotes from it. First, a quote from Gwyneth Paltrow. Tracy kicked my sagging ass into shape and I'll be forever grateful. Back then, that would have been so impactful. Like that was early 2010s when we read an article about what a celebrity did, we mimicked it. And so we hear Gwyneth Paltrow goes, she's in shape, this must be the holy grail. The Tracy Anderson method is based on more than 3,000 moves that work the small muscles rather than the big muscles with the aim of producing a feminine and dancer-like body. In the locker room, I counted a woman in her 40s, I think, but she looked like a teenager gymnast stretching. Seriously, ask her, you do the Tracy Anderson methods 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, as recommended? For sure, she says. The studio is small, but so exclusive, it won't quote prices over the phone. However, I later discovered there's an annual fee of $1,500 on top of a monthly rate of $900, and personal training sessions are extra. So that was definitely the thing. If that's what's expected, if they're promoting it almost like how a dancer would train, and she was a professional dancer, so I think of like, if you really want to get the benefits, you have to be in here twice a day, 2 hours a day, 6 days a week. Like anything you do that much kind of becomes culty. Like it's a joke, but anything you're just constantly like such a foundation of your life, like you just follow those principles, you start doing what Tracy Anderson does, you eat the way they do. I think the fact that like that studio was encouraging to be there that so much, and if you're amongst people like that, they're probably affluential in some way because they can afford to spend that much and also spend that much time just not working. Like they're almost treating it like a professional dancer would. But I'm like, you have to have a job. Like, I'm so confused. Your schedule. Okay, I discovered a plus of the app is they do have.
For this class, I'll be vocally cueing you the entire time.
So they do have ones on the app that explain the dances and teach you the dances before you do it, which I like because then it's just kind of like a dance. Like you learn the moves practice and then you perform them. Because that was my biggest struggle in the class. I felt like I didn't know the moves. So you kind of got better throughout it, but I felt stupid for most of the class. So like it wasn't really enjoyable. As a beginner, I'm gonna feel stupid every time. Like I wanna learn these moves, but I don't have time to learn them because I'm just trying to keep up. So I guess that's a plus if you're a big Tracy Anderson fan to get the app and then you can practice it and do the actual workouts. $200 worth? Oh, and all the instructors on this look so sweet and everyone I met was nice. So I wanna reference that. Let's do my final workout. Da, 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 da. So I didn't have ankle weights. I can't find them for the life of me. When I did the classes, it burns. By the end, I was like, oh my God. Like it's like a bar class. Like just even that 1 pound, you do that many reps. Oh, even this, my booty was burning and there wasn't even any weights. It's just so many reps. At the end of the day, like progressive overload is volume throughout the week or month or whatever time frame. Like the best example is like you could do 100 reps of 1 pound or you could do 1 rep of 100 pounds. Kind of stimulates the same as what the research says. It's not exactly, as probably one rep of 100 pounds will make you stronger. It won't make you build as much muscle versus actually the reverse. If you're doing 100 reps of 1, it'll probably stimulate a bit more of hypertrophy and have you gain muscle. So there's some food for thought. The research isn't conclusive that lighter weights, higher reps means less muscle build and like a leaner. If anything, the opposite. Like if you look at a lot of bodybuilders don't lift really heavy weights. They lift like, they go for high reps of like a moderate weight. If you're only lifting a pound or two, the likelihood that you're gonna get crazy jacked is not gonna happen. But just that idea that by doing low weight, high rep is going to ensure you never gain a ton of muscle. It's like not really the case. If anything, sometimes I think if someone's biggest fear is getting too muscular, but they still want to be strong and fit and toned, I'm like, actually, you should maybe do just low rep, high weight. And then that way you get actually really strong, but you don't do much hypertrophy because your volume isn't as high like throughout the week, but you're lifting these heavy weights. So I'm like, I think we might have it a little backwards, but it really is contextual. Like, are we talking hundreds and thousands of reps versus a couple reps? You know what I mean? Like it's really subjective. Just food for thought why you shouldn't fear lifting weights, because you have to lift so much you couldn't accidentally get bulky from it. Like you would have to purposely be in the gym lifting high reps, high weight, progressively overloading. So especially as women, you would know if you're lifting enough to get jacked and you're taking steroids. That's not gonna happen in Tracy Anderson, and it's not happening usually with a regular like 3 to 4 times a week weightlifting program. Genetics come into play, but that's for another time. So after trying Tracy Anderson's workouts in both New York, LA, and testing her app, here are the thoughts. First, I'm just gonna say something about Tracy Anderson. She's giving Gwyneth Paltrow. The fact that she leans into it. The more she's on social media, I think she used to be in very much that like exclusive group, like we don't talk, we don't post on social media, but she seems to be getting a bit more with times and just being like leaning a bit more into the joke. Like Gwyneth is like, she admits to being a little wacky. She makes fun of herself. Her daughter makes fun of her that like she'll try all these things because she's got the money and the privilege to do so. So like as long as someone's in on the joke, I'm like, okay, you're still a human. Like you haven't completely lost touch. Like yeah, you've gained a lot of money, so you get to do these things, but like at least you still remember those crazy things you're doing are crazy, but you got the extra money to spend on a $900 a month membership, but you still realize the absurdity of that. I do applaud anyone that is in on the joke. The pros, it does teach you coordination. Like I felt like that's a skill, learning how to do a dance. 2, it is literally the perfect workout for a music festival. It's hot conditions, you're sweaty, you're dancing a couple times, and you learn like a couple moves that you can pull out on the dance floor. So like if you're going to Coachella or Stagecoach next year, or to Ibiza to dance, do this. If I lived in LA, it was a month out for Coachella, I'd be doing this every day to prepare for the heat and just like practice my moves. And I kind of loved it. The post-workout high was fabulous because of the hot, and you got such a good sweat and you danced to music and serotonin was going. After, I felt on cloud 9. I won't lie, the post-workout endorphins were phenomenal. So the pro would be for a celebrity that you don't see us regular folks, but I will say going in there, it wasn't as elitist as I thought it was gonna be. There was a lot of people like you, like I ran into one subscriber at the New York location. I think the difference is like, even myself, there's a couple group classes here in Vancouver that are crazy, but like I'll buy a punch pass. So like a 5 or 10 pack, and I'll spread it out. So maybe I'm doing anywhere from 1 to 6 a month of these classes as kind of treat myself. They're fun. Like for example, House Concept, there's no way in hell I can afford an unlimited membership there. It's like $1,000 a month. No, but I can buy like a 5 or 10 pack and like spread it out over a while. And that's how I think Tracy Anderson is. Like, yeah, there's definitely those people in there that can buy these crazy memberships and get like private sessions. I saw there's some people doing private sessions, but like most people there are just going to be like any of us, and they're like, you know, that's kind of nice treat to themselves buying a 5 pack, and maybe they do it once a week or so. The cons. Anytime I see something with a gimmick in the fitness world, I always am like, how would the workout be without the mimic? Example, the heat. It's like hot yoga on a different level because of the humidity. Like I was pouring sweat, like a sweat I've never experienced. So it makes you feel like you had the craziest workout. But then like when I do the workouts without the humidity, it's just a kind of nice dance. You kind of get your heart rate elevated, but like barely to zone 2. The price. Like we are noticing that the cost of eggs right now, let alone the price of a gym membership being over $900 a month, is ridiculous. Like to put it into context, an Equinox membership right now is about like $200. It's like 6 months Equinox gym membership, which I already think is crazy. And like in 1 month, 3. The bands and the bouncy floor. The floor is kind of bouncy, kind of give you an illusion. The best description I have is when I was in high school, I played guitar here all the time. And it gave me this false illusion that I could play guitar. And then when I went to play guitar, I couldn't. So it kind of gives that. It's nice. It makes it fun. And you're still getting a good workout. But I mean, like, it makes you feel like I got hops. And then you get off the bouncy floor and it's humbling. There's no instructions. I still haven't fully nailed it, but I realize the app does, and I'm sure you can get one-on-one training. But yeah, it's a learning curve that you're on your own to figure out in front of strangers. So that's fun, said sarcastically. If you really want to see results, you can see results a whole lot faster simply just lifting weights in a structured program of progressive overload. So if you just want to have a little extra muscle definition for the summer, yeah, you'll probably get there faster just lifting weights 3 times a week, 45 to 60 minutes, hitting every major muscle group. 6, like you're not doing anything crazy, so I'm not too worried about injury, but at the same time, because there's no real instruction, I think there's also a risk of injury there. 7, dehydration. Drink a lot of water before, definitely get electrolytes in. I'm pretty sure, yeah, I doubled up Element every single time I did one of these because the sweating is insane. And last con is I don't think it's worth the price. I think the price is that big because people in the public eye can afford it. And so it's one of those like sad realities of life is like people who are famous need privacy. So everything's over expensive for them. And so it just stops people like us going there all the time. And it just caters to more of an elite group. But like, do I think it's better than any other dance workout? No, it's fun. But like I'm doing a K-pop challenge right now. And so I'm doing dance workouts. There's a little hint. Hit subscribe if you guys want to see that. But like, it was equally as fun. It's just like going to like a local dance studio here in Vancouver and learning K-pop. Like it equally as fun. Just dancing is fun. Like it's not anything super magical about the Tracy Anderson method. It's just dancing with a little bit of resistance training because sometimes you lift 1 pound dumbbells and you have ankle weights. And I ironically think this is just like funny timing of just like celebrity right now. Like I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. Like I saw a lot of discourse online about like the Met Gala costing $75,000 for a ticket. And we're all here being like, I noticed eggs went up by $3. And you just bought a ticket. It's mind blowing. And like the people at that Met Gala are the people who do Tracy Anderson. Like Kim Kardashian has done it. Gwyneth Paltrow, like Victoria's Secret models, like the list goes on. And people who have been at the Met Gala, there's a high percent of people at the Met Gala that do Tracy Anderson or have in the past. And it's just ridiculous that like you have so much extra money. It's not just to pay for a good workout, but you have extra money to pay for a good workout that you want to make sure other people can afford so you have privacy. Like I'm always like so fascinated about it. Like I watch the Kardashians because like it's so unrelatable. So that's what's interesting. I'm like, I want to see this life that is so out of touch. Like Gwyneth Paltrow, I'll read Goop sometimes because it's so not my life. So it's fascinating. But by watching those and reading them, I'm making them even richer, more unrelatable as I sit here just like consuming the content and getting influenced to buy more Skims because I love Skims. It's a weird thing right now. It's a weird, very dystopian Hunger Games almost, but not to the extent of I was like, wow, yogurt is $10 and your gym membership is almost $1,000 a month. But moral of the story, it's a fun workout. It's not the most mind-blowing thing in the world. Any dance workout is equally as fun. If you got extra money and you live in LA or New York and you're going for Coachella, honestly do it. Prep yourself. I think anything falls into a cult, and it's just ironic that I think the reason like cult and Tracy Anderson go hand in hand is just like she was just one of those celebrity trainers in the early 2000s that a lot of celebrities went to, and it just became in the ethos when we didn't have social media, we didn't have YouTubers talking about things, we didn't have TikTok, we just had like a couple news resources that we looked at. And the fact that there was a New York Times article called The Cult of Tracy Anderson is now just like embedded in our brains that Tracy Anderson is part of a cult. And I don't think so. I think any fitness community that people are obsessed with can be a cult. Berries, House Concepts, Lulu, Aloe, Gymshark, running. Oh my God, if you want to talk about cult, anything can be. Just be aware. Always just check in with yourself in fitness fads. Just be like, ooh, does this consume my entire personality? Because it definitely does at times. You've seen it when running becomes my entire personality. But moral of the story, have a great day. Go pet a dog. Love you guys. Bye.